Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, this is the opportunity for the public to address the board.
Joan Hodawana, it's 220 Linden Street, Scranton. I was looking at budget and revenue numbers. I have the budget performance report, Mr. DeBilio, that's yours. And I have Mr. Jeffers' reports. And looking at the revenue, electronic monitoring, rent, work release, rent, year-to-date transactions, 0. Has that just not been updated?
That's correct.
Yeah, because I saw.
It'll be updated next month.
Okay.
The way we put the checks in at the end of each month, so they don't have time to put it in the computer and have it updated for the.
Well, wouldn't it show December's input then?
It's a different, it would technically, but it's a different
Fiscal year?
fiscal year, so that's.
Okay. All right, so this is your revenue, so explain to me who's paying what for electronic monitoring. Is this an inmate pays for a ankle bracelet? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how much do they pay?
It depends upon what they're in for, but the average is $15 a day.
Okay, and what if they don't have any funds?
Well, we work with them, to be quite honest with you. I mean, most of them have the funds because they have to go to work. They have to be a part of programming.
Okay. And where do they get the money for rent on work release?
Same thing, they go to work.
Okay. And is anybody ever caught like, I don't have the money?
Yes, we have that problem all the time.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do with those people?
Well, we just encourage them to keep working, try to work with them on payment agreements.
Okay, I'll figure that out a little later. So, so the revenue is running 1 month behind. Are the expenses on time or accurate?
Expenses are on time and accurate, yes, ma'am.
Okay, but not the revenues.
That's correct.
Why can't, okay, how does that,
How it works is that we take in money,
yep,
we deposit it.
Right.
At the end of the month, when we audit ourselves, we cut a check to the CFO over in purchasing. We can't do that until we get all of our bank statements within the first week or two of the month. So
okay,
February's bank statement, or January's bank statements will be coming in February. So once we're able to audit all that and make sure all the numbers are correct, then we cut checks over to the CFO department.
okay. I just thought it was a little curious that you had 0 revenue here and then you were giving us $68,000 in revenue. It didn't make sense.
Okay.
Okay. I have another question on an unrelated item, but since the warden was reporting all these programs, does the Lackawanna County Prison have any library facilities at all for the use of its inmates?
Yes, we have a law library that's there, and we have general books that are on the blocks, but not a library like you would know where you're going in and checking out a book.
So you do have a law library that the inmates have access to?
Yes,
Okay. And you do have some kind of circulating general book collection
yes,
for both male and females?
yes.
Okay. Because I will tell you that the Friends of the Scranton Public Library are conducting a book sale this coming week, at the end of which any books that we don't sell, we will make available if the prison would like to take them for their inmates. Okay, and we have somebody that will be coming and looking at them because there's no point in us storing them. You know, it's a time and money for us, and if they're of use to the prison, then have at it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board?
I'm here to give a book report.
Can I have your name, please, ma'am?
Bev DeBarros
Bev
on
DeBarros.
Quincy Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
At last month's meeting, I proposed about bringing used paperback books into the prison, and that always in the past, the problem with getting books in was that they had to be inspected first. And I asked that we could have a team of librarians and school teachers who would be trained to inspect these books, and so they could get in. And that's how it was left when I left. So then I got home and got a call from Deputy Warden Dave Langen, and he said no need to train anybody else to inspect books because third shift, or midnight shift, I think he called it, employees, CO, I don't know, the third shift staff would be able to look through all the books. So that was great. So I started collecting books from a lot of sources, and then the following full week, that next Thursday after the Wednesday meeting, I took 3 boxes of books in, clearly marked for the 3 different women's blocks, and I personally went through all of them. If somebody's name was in there, I took it out, or did it with a black marker, checked for bookmarks, anything. So I thought the books were pretty clean that went in. So, of course, they could re-inspect them, but it should have been easy. So the following Thursday after that, I go in with 4 more boxes, and the first 3 boxes are still sitting there. So that was disappointing. And so I went into the Bible study class, the women told them, and I said, I'm sorry, there's books out there, but they're not in here yet. And they said, oh, go to Sergeant Isaac Hebron. He's a good guy. He's working today till 3 o'clock. He'll facilitate this. So I go out to the lobby, and Sergeant Hebron was off that day, the next day, but he would be in Saturday. So Saturday I'm down there. Oh, he's out today. Maybe he'll be in tomorrow. Sunday I go down. He's there. I talk to him, show him the books, tell him that I had already had some good contact with Mari Finland in the warden's office, I think, just over the phone. I didn't meet her, but she got some Bibles in that are supposed to go straight in. And they had been held there a week. I see the women hadn't got their Bibles. Mari says, I'll take care of it. She goes, finds the Bibles stacked in the back of the office there in the lobby, takes them around to the women whose names are on them, and calls me back. That's done. So I figured, here's a friend. And so then I'm talking to Isaac Hebron and told him the story. Well, he said, that was Sunday. Nobody will be, nothing will happen tomorrow because of President's Day. But on Tuesday, which would have been yesterday, I will talk with Mari and see if we can work something out. I said, good. I said, in the meantime, I got more books in, and I have 2 big boxes in my car. Don't bring them in, he said, till we take care of what we have here. So it's a shame because we have 200 good books, more than 200 already that have come in and are not getting to where they should be. So that's my report.
Warden Langen, do you want to address this, please?
We'll take care of it. It's possible that when these boxes are dropped off, they're there with all the other deliveries that come in the front, and maybe they weren't aware that they were there. Now that you told them, then I didn't know about it. I'll get it taken care of.
They were aware from day one, because when I brought them in, they said, what are you bringing? I told them, and I said, Deputy Warden said, bring them. So they knew, and that's where they are among the other male visible.
All right, well, the midnight shift probably did not know to take care of it, and I will make sure that they know to take care
Okay,
of it.
because this is a month. I hope next month I come back and say, wow, it's great, you know.
She give you a call when she drops them off, so you know they're there.
Yes, or just have the receptionist tell me.
All right.
Send me an email or.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Warden Langen. Anybody else would like to address the board?
I'm Anthony Pomelia from 225 Lake Scranton Road, and I volunteer at the prison in the chaplain's office. And I want to thank the warden and the deputy warden, because there's a group of prisoners there who are under special protection because of the particular things that they did. I think it's called administrative something or other. So he arranged that they could come to Mass after everybody else left. So that was quite an accomplishment, because these fellows are isolated for their own safety. The reason I'm coming is I would hope I would be able to get permission to go to their block, because they are so restricted that they can't go anywhere for their own safety, that I myself or someone else could maybe visit them at the block to have Bible study or to sing or something, because they tell me, and they're not complaining about it, just that they're very restricted for their own safety. So I'm wondering what avenue I could follow so that I could get permission to go into that block, if that's the way to do it, or the best way.
Pardon me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that would have to be approved by the warden or the deputy warden.
Well, I've made a phone call, but I don't get a response from the phone call. I'm not faulting anybody. It's just that I guess that everybody's busy over there, so I don't know. Is there a better way of communicating rather than a phone call left on an answering machine?
I was gonna say, give me your name and number, we'll give you a call.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Stephanie Bresler. I live at 1402 East Gibson Street in Scranton. And again, I'm representing Progressive Women of Northeast PA. When I first came here, we had about 100 members. We now have more than 200 members. I am responding to a invitation from Judge Garalo to ask some additional questions about an undated, unsigned report that was presented last time entitled Response to Request at the Last Prison Board Meeting. And that report was attached to the agenda for the February 8th meeting. So based on that, and again, it was an unsigned and undated report, and I am requesting the following information based on that. Please identify the 34, and I will be providing you with this letter. I'm reading it today because I really want to make sure that it's part of the meeting minutes and doesn't get lost in the shuffle of mail. Number one, please identify the 34 specific jobs available to female inmates and the 187 specific jobs available to male inmates referenced in this report. Number two, what was the gender breakdown of prison inmates for calendar year 2015 and calendar year 2016? Number three, what was the total number of jobs available for inmates during calendar year 2015 and calendar year 2016? Number four, what was the number of jobs assigned to female inmates during calendar year 2015 and calendar year 2016? Number five, what was the number of jobs assigned to male inmates during calendar year 2015 and calendar year 2016? Our organization is very concerned about what we're hearing from some inmates, female inmates, that they do not have access to jobs and the same kind of jobs that male inmates have access to. So I'm leaving this letter with you. Again, I expect it to be in the meeting minutes. It's addressed to Judge Durallo, who's not here, so I will give it to the sheriff who's presiding. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Warden Betty or Deputy Warden Langen, would you be able to respond to the doctor regarding these questions?
As best we can. I mean, I'm just based on what she was just saying, there are some numbers that we might not have great numbers on the percentage on a particular day or the average for the year of how many of these jobs were filled by male, by female, but I'll do the best job we can with the information I have at hand.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? You have something?
As long as the public stops, as long as it passes. Just want to bring to attention the recent sanctuary city policy. Oh, sorry. I just want to bring to light the sanctuary city policy. In light of a recent executive order issued by President Trump, I believe that the prison board should obtain a formal opinion of legal counsel regarding the policy of the Lackawanna County Prison for detention of those who have been incarcerated for committing or being charged with criminal offenses who have also illegally entered the country and have no lawful immigration status. Specifically, is notice given to federal authorities that such persons have been detained, is a list of such persons maintained by the prison, and are federal authorities given ample, reasonable notice that such persons have been detained in the first instance, and whether notice of the intended release is given in sufficient time for federal authorities to detain the same before release. I'm concerned because if prison policy is not in conformity with federal law as delineated by the recent executive order, federal funding for the prison may be adversely affected. I know there's a lot that's been stated in the paper. There's a lot of people that are holding rallies that are opposed to sanctuary cities. And I did check, we are not a sanctuary county. That was one of the questions that we had to address with the, when we got a call on it. But there is a listing in regards to what Lackawanna County does with prisoners and whether or not they will let the authorities know that we have an illegal immigrant prior to releasing them. So I'd like to know what our policy is, and if we don't have one, we need one.
We can get a copy of our policy that addresses that issue to the prison board later this afternoon.
Do you know it, Warden, or no?
Yeah, we immediately contact the Immigration and Custom Enforcement Agency.
And do we detain until before they're released?
Yeah, we have a neighboring county, that's what's called the hub, Pike County, and usually in that event, the individual would go over to Pike County when they were done with the local charges.
We're listed as not detaining, and I'll have to get you that Federal Register, but just so you know, that's what they're looking at in that Federal Register across the country, so I'll get that for you. Thank you.
Warren, would you be able to bring a copy of that policy for the next meeting?
Sure.
So are you saying that once they serve whatever commitment they have from our courts?
Yes.
If they're illegal, that they then move to the hub?
Yes.
So we're not detaining people with that status, we give them to the facility that the federal government is using for that purpose?
Yes, and there may be a one-day holdover if they can't pick them up on that particular day, but yeah, we're obligated actually to contact ICE when we get somebody in that's not a U.S. resident.
Because we're not a hub, would that be why they show that we don't detain that status?
Yeah, I'll have to correct that.
Well, no, because we don't hold them. Once they become complete with their charge, we don't keep them in our place, we give them to somebody else. So we follow the requirements to keep them, but we don't have them on it for that reason. That's probably why they show we don't detain, because we don't hold them.
Right.
So we follow the
I
detention
just don't want to lose
policy,
any
but
federal
they go to
funding for a
another
prison, that's all. I
facility.
mean, it's $6 million that we get.
We've been dealing with ICE for a long time, haven't we? We're a long
Yes,
time.
years ago, we used to
Well, we
house a
used
good
to
number
hold
of,
the feds
yeah.
there at one point, yeah, we've been
Yeah.
doing it for a long time.
Thank you. Members, other business? Motion to adjourn. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.